everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie. I am the Midwest Seller, and today is Tuesday, August 20th, 2020. And today I'm going to share with you just an announcement video, I guess you would call it. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen my post from yesterday. I am so excited and happy and really thrilled to add this to my business, and it's a lot of fun. So I hope you stick around and watch my video. So if this is your first time checking out my channel, I am so glad you stopped in. I hope you stick around and I hope you decide to subscribe. I really appreciate your support. So let's see, where do I start? This is something, like I said, it's just going to be an extension, another layer, another piece of a source of income for me. And it's also going to allow me to be a little bit more creative. I've been looking for something to do during this pandemic, you know, just to do something creative, learn something new. So I think I found it. I tried lots of different things and nothing really stuck with me. All right, so let me start here. I guess a couple of weeks ago, I started doing inventory just to make sure all my boxes of clothing, everything was accounted for. And I noticed there was just a lot of things that I've had in inventory a long time, especially on eBay, that were vintage items that just were not selling. They've been out there for many seasons and there's just no interest in them. So I started pulling them, deciding I don't want these in my store anymore, you know. So I got all that together, decided to pull it from eBay. If you're not familiar with vintage items, the clothing back then were really made of high quality fabrics, well constructed, designed to last a long time. So, you know, a long time ago, people's closets were not like they are today. You had maybe a couple of nice Sunday best outfits, some workwear to work in the garden and such, and your everyday clothes, and the construction of these clothes were built really to last. High quality fabric, high quality material, well constructed, and you know, vintage, they just do not make clothing items. Unless it's something handmade, you just don't see a lot of good quality, well-constructed items in fast fashions today. So, you know, I miss that. But anyway, getting off the subject here. So I had this huge pile of clothing that I just was not gonna sell. And I do want you to know that I do donate a lot of things to the needy. And the thrift stores right now and the charity shops, they're all overflowing with items. There's just an abundance of clothing items out there. So I didn't want to, you know, bombard the stores with any more. They have plenty. And I decided what I would do. I just started thinking, my, you know, creative juices started flowing, and I thought of my dog and decided he needs a bandana, you know, I'm gonna make bandanas. So I started out just trial and error, trying to make sizes for my dog, Gizmo, and he has to lose weight, the veterinarian said. But anyway, he has gained some, I guess you would call it the pandemic weight. He's got to lose about 2 pounds. So that evening, I just was cutting up a storm. I stayed up all night. It was just so actually fun just to deconstruct these items, cutting things up by, you know, the seams. Ended up with a huge pile of nice fabric, and I made my first one. You know, there was a lot of trial and error, learning curve. I just actually started sewing this last month. I've had a sewing machine. My mother had given me many years ago, and I just was a little bit intimidated to use it. I did sewing in a home ec class. I don't even think they have home ec classes anymore, but I did sewing, you know, back in the 80s. So that was a long time ago. So I started to, you know, design a pattern and just kind of play around with it, got the size right for Gizmo. And it was so fun. I just had such a sense of accomplishment, you know, making something from scratch and designing it and just putting it all together. It was just a lot of fun to see something come from, you know, an old piece of material to a cute little dog bandana. So I made my first dog bandana, and then I couldn't stop. I was having so much fun. I covered up my entire dining room table with all my buttons, sewing machine, all the fabric, all my, you know, goodies. So this is kind of funny, but when I go out to estate sales, I'm always drawn to, you know, the bags of sewing stuff, and I would always pick them up, always buy them, put them in my little closet, you know, things like buttons and sewing accessories and notions and things like that, and lace and ribbons. Now, my grandmother, she was a seamstress, so maybe I am channeling my grandmother here to help me out, but she was a wonderful seamstress. I always remember her sewing things from patterns in her sewing room and making, you know, us cousins clothes and costumes. She was so good at sewing, and I always remember such great memories of her in her sewing room. So I just started putting different fabrics together, and I have a huge collection of buttons. When my grandmother passed, I had a jar of her buttons, so it was real near and dear to my heart. And then I would start collecting vintage buttons. I would buy vintage buttons at estate sales, garage sales, and anyway, it just grew and grew and grew. So I have a lifetime of buttons, and I thought I'm going to start using these vintage buttons on my bandanas. So I did. So my new business is over-the-collar dog bandanas made from recycled, upcycled vintage fabrics. So everything that I'm going to be making is true vintage fabric. It might be clothing items, most of it's clothing items. It might be vintage napkins or a tablecloth, vintage sheets, anything vintage I will repurpose, upcycle, and make into dog bandanas. So I'm going to have different sizes, an assortment of sizes. Gizmo here, he is wearing an extra small, and you can wear it in the back, you can wear it on the side, you can wear it in the front, but it passes through your own dog collar. So I will show you some examples here of what I've got, and I have so many more ready to put my buttons on. It's just so fun. It's very fun for me. You know, I love reselling. I love reselling. It is a passion of mine, but I also wanted to do something creative. I wanted to create and just do something with my hands, you know. So the next day, you know, I was showing my husband, and he thought it was a great idea, a good way to use up, you know, things that I didn't need anymore. I had come up with some names, and they just seemed a little bit too long, nothing that I really liked too much, and Chris is very creative, and he came up with the name. So it's Pupcycled Vintage, which obviously is a play on upcycled. So I thought it was perfect. I just loved it. And so then it began. And my daughter, she is a graphic designer in Columbus, Ohio, and she, of course, was happy to make a logo up for me. All I did was give her the name of the business, and she went to it and created the most awesome design. She incorporated our dog, Gizmo, who is right here. So Gizmo is on the logo. So I was really busy the last few weeks sewing up a storm, making all these bandanas, trying to get it ready to launch. I started out with about 20 to launch on my Etsy store. This is going to be strictly on my Etsy store. I'm not going to put them on eBay. I'm not going to put them on Poshmark. I want to dedicate one store to my bandanas. This Gizmo, he is our Pupcycled vintage mascot, I guess you would say. And again, he is wearing an extra small. Right now he weighs 7 pounds. He needs to go back down to 5 pounds or 4 pounds. My vet was very happy when he was 4 and 5 pounds, but he has gained some weight. He's got some rolls. He needs to exercise more, and he actually just came back from the vet yesterday, and she sent him home with some diet doggy food. So we've got to get out there and start walking a little bit more. All right, so let me put him inside, and I will be back and show you some examples. So I'm going to show you the ones that are out there on my Etsy store already, and I'll show you just a few that I have in front of me that I'm working on. I've already had a sale, and thank you, Alexandria. Okay, so let me show you what I've got so far. So I have 5 different sizes right now. I have extra small, small, medium, large, and extra large. And depending on the type of, you know, item that I'm upcycling, I might be able to only get a couple of bandanas. So the bandanas that I'm making are always going to have a front and back panel, so 2 sides to it. And most of them have the vintage buttons. I might do a few without buttons just in case somebody doesn't want the buttons. And then I also have a listing in there that you can do a custom size if you have a, you know, rather large dog or extremely small dog that's too little for the extra small. Some of the like little teacup ones maybe would be even an extra small. I can definitely accommodate those fur babies that are a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger. All right, here are some that are already out there in my Etsy shop. These are all upcycled. Very happy and proud about that. This is an example of the small size, and here's the back. You can see I do use the 2 panels. I make them very durable and sturdy. And you know, I pointed out in my Etsy shop, a lot of times I want to try to use as much as, there's my dog barking, I want to use as much as the article of clothing or whatever it is, use as much of the fabric that I can. So there might be a time where there's some seams that are shown in your bandana, and I just think that adds to the unique character of it. Here's another one. This one's small. This one, the point came out a little bit different than I had hoped for, but I think it's still going to be cute. If, you know, once it's on your bandana, it's going to be really cute. So I figured I'd go ahead and put it out there. And again, look at, I have so many buttons. These are, all the buttons are going to be vintage, so some of them are really fun. I have some very, very old buttons that I am going to be using as well. This one here is another small, it's a fun print. This was a jacket, and it has some different buttons on them. I thought it'd be fun to mix match this one because of all the colors. This one, I just love this one. This one was actually a vintage apron of mine. I have so many aprons that I just don't use, so I decided to cut one up. So this is an actual vintage apron. And this one I added a little bit of red piping, and there's the back. And these are some silver, like shank style buttons on that one. And I had a little bit more fabric to use, so I made a little bit bigger one. This one's a small with some white buttons. So here's an example of what I mean by over the collar. So it's just, you know, it goes through your own collar. So right now at this time, I don't provide any of the dog collars. Slip it over your own dog collar. I might carry just maybe a few of each size in case somebody does need a collar. Maybe I'll carry some dog collars just as an additional add-on if they want to do that for a couple of bucks. But there is this. This was a shirt, vintage shirt. This one here was another like blazer style jacket, and this one has embroidery on it with some big yellow buttons. So I thought that was fun. I started messing around with different stitches. This is just a zigzag stitch. I kind of just like the straight stitch. This one I love. This one is so just real dainty and pretty. This is linen, so 100% linen, and it has some, you know, eyelet. This one I did not have enough linen to do the backside because I used it on some other ones. So I added some pink fabric from another shirt. Here's another eyelet one. I just love the eyelet ones. I think they're so just summery and dainty and really soft linen fabric. And this was the last of the linen from that shirt that I was able to use. This one I added a little bit of like a sage color button to it. I thought that was really cute. I have a basket of things that I've been putting off because they had stains on them, so I went ahead and cut those up too. I just thought that's a good idea to use, you know, things that have stains on them, cut them up and cut around the stains and use the fabric. This was a pair of vintage golf shorts. So this is really fun. This is more of a stiff cotton. I love this one. This was a handmade shirt that I had out there and didn't sell. You know, I am drawn to vintage clothing. Yeah, I really like the vintage clothing, but I guess, I don't know. It was a very small size, and vintage is made a lot smaller than today's fashions anyway, so it was pretty tiny. So anyway, here is this one. I love this one. Cute for fall. This is almost like a flannel. It's very soft, and it is cotton, but it was a handmade shirt. Right, and so this one was actually made from an old handkerchief. So I have a tub of handkerchiefs and napkins that I have not listed. So I thought I'm just gonna go ahead and use them like this. And this one was a fun polka dot print. So if I were to do this one over, I would probably just do brown buttons with some brown string. Then it wouldn't show, but it's gonna be on the dog collar anyway, so you're not gonna see that part anyway. But you know, things like this I learn as I go. So that is one thing I would do different on this one, but I still think it's cute. Maybe I'll just show the front of them just to get it going faster for you. All right, this is a blue one. This one has some big yellow buttons on it, and this one was from a shirt. This was a pair of pants that I used, and you can see this is what I'm talking about. The seam there, that was a side seam, and I thought, oh, I'll try it. Somebody, you know, might think it's kind of cute. added red buttons on that with a contrasting white stitching. So I'll see how these do, you know, with where you can see the seams on some of the fabric. And if they don't go, then I might just be more careful with what fabrics. You know, it's all just trial and error. I'll see what works. I'll see what people like. And I did some with the, let me show you the difference. So I did some with it folding over in the front like that. And I did some with the fold over in the back. What do you think? Which one do you like better? I might just go ahead and do a mix of both of them just to have a variety. I thought it was cute. It has little hearts and stars on it. I added some natural looking buttons on it. And these are the large, so this is the large size, what I've shown you. And this was just like a remnant piece of vintage fabric. This one here was a heavier cotton, and it has pink and blue roses on it, some neutral buttons. This one here I like this one a lot. And actually one of the ones, the first one that sold was this fabric, and it had some oblong buttons on it, and it was a size small, so that's really cute. This one here, this was a pantsuit, this here, and it has different shades of blue stripes on it, and I added some big gray buttons, so it has blue and gray in it. And then here's just a few that I have not put together yet that I just have sitting here, so I'll show you those. Here was the other one with that shirt. That's about how much I got out of that shirt. With the sleeves, they were so skinny that I couldn't really do anything with the sleeves, so I just have a scrap lot that I might maybe, when I have time, do a patchwork type thing and see what I come up with there. And this one, I really liked this. I thought this reminds me of Christmas, so I will put some fun buttons on that. So this one reminds me of summer. This one was actually some upcycled napkins. So some cloth napkins, and I will add maybe some blue buttons on that one. So that's all I have in front of me. So I have created a second Instagram account called PupCycle Vintage, and people are welcome to take a photo of their dog with my bandana and do the hashtag PupCycle Vintage, and I will post them out there for everybody to admire. So you can see I have jars and jars and jars of vintage old buttons. So to make it go a little bit faster, I started sorting all my buttons by color, so I have tubs and tubs of different colors sorted out. And also I'm going to be adding, this was another idea, a great idea of my husband, a bandana subscription where you can do a subscription service. So, you know, pay for 6 months or a year. And then if somebody gets the subscription service, I will send out one bandana a month and then an extra birthday bandana. So I thought that was a great idea, and I might do like a 6-month or a 12-month option. We'll see, but I gotta think about the pricing for that. But I wanted to share that with you out here on YouTube, and hopefully you think it's a neat idea. So be sure to let me know in the comments below what you guys think, and feel free to share this video if you know any dog lovers out there. And I have all kinds of ideas in my head, you know, things for Christmas, maybe upcycling some Christmas vintage, and see what I can come up with there. Look out for, keep an eye out for things in the thrift stores that might be fun for holidays, and see if I can find anything. But I just could not wait to have it all come together, and it's out there now, so I'm very excited about it, and I cannot wait to keep sewing. I told my mom I don't know why I waited so many years to try to start sewing. I just love it. I absolutely love it. It is so fun. So that is what I've been doing for the past couple of weeks, and I will get back out here on YouTube. I needed to take some time to get this started, get the process going, and it's getting easier and faster for me to put these together, so it's good. So leave any comments or suggestions down below, and I will be sure to read each and every one of your comments. I hope you like and subscribe, share this out, and we will see you in the next one. Bye!